The authentic self. I like talking about this one. So I'm DJ Leclerc. I'm a musician. I studied music majoring in songwriting and now I teach music theory at a conservatory. And authenticity is a big subject when you're a creative person and you're doing creative things, like being a YouTuber or like making music or anything else. Now, let's first imagine what it would be like to not be authentic and how you can notice this, how you can tell that this is going wrong in your life. Well, first of all, you will have thoughts that you don't dare to express. You will be thinking and feeling things and you'll be suppressing them, thinking, well, if I'm honest about this, then what are people going to say? Or what's going to happen? I can't be honest about that. That would be nonsense. Nobody does that. If you're noticing those sorts of thoughts within yourself, I believe you're not being completely authentic. Now, one effect this has is that it weakens you. It makes it harder to do what you say you're going to do. Because you don't fully trust yourself, you're not fully being yourself, and these things go hand in hand. So, what if you are being your authentic self? Well, then you're doing what you want to do. You're saying what you actually mean. And this really boosts your confidence because you're being honest, you're being authentic. It's like a relationship with anyone else. If I'm telling you, I'm going to be there tomorrow at 9, and I'm not there, you're going to lose trust in me. Now, if I'm going to tell myself, I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to go to the gym and I'll be there at 7 or something, and I don't do that, I'll lose confidence in myself. I lose faith in myself because I'm damaging my relationship with myself. So being authentic is also a road to confidence. At least I believe that's the case. And this makes you stronger as a person. Not in terms of muscle, but in terms of character. Now, another way you can tell you're being authentic is whether or not your life is draining you. Like, I'm not saying you'll never be tired if you're authentic. That's nonsense. But if at the end of your day you're completely drained and you just want to lie down on the couch till you fall asleep and then have another day like that, well, that's not helpful. That's not what you should wish for yourself, for your future self, or for your current self. And it's a sign of not living in an authentic way, in my opinion. Now, one thing that happened to me is I had a relationship with someone and it wasn't in my best interest to be in that relationship. And I did have all these suppressed thoughts and feelings. And throughout the course of about a year, that became quite a lot. There were a lot of suppressed thoughts and feelings. This all ended when I finally decided it was enough and I had to come clean and be forthright and honest about what it is that I'm thinking and feeling. She didn't take it well, and in a typical, honestly narcissistic manner, she flipped the script, and now I was the one who was to blame and she was the victim. And of course those kinds of emotions made it hard for me to be honest, because we all want to avoid hurting somebody else's feelings, but in return we start hurting our own feelings, and that's not useful. See, you can love yourself and love somebody else at the same time, and it's not going to be unhealthy unless you have to choose between the love for someone else and the love for yourself. And in that scenario, it's better to choose the love for yourself. That's not selfish, that's integrity. That's integrity. See, when you're being honest and you hurt somebody else by being honest, and you're being nuanced and kind and loving, but still the truth itself is just painful for the other person to hear, then that's a sign the other person has something to deal with. And you not being honest about that is robbing them of the opportunity to deal with that. And that's a tough pill to swallow, or at least it was for me. Maybe it's not for you, but it certainly was for me. That relationship ended about 1.5 days after I started being honest. She just ran off with a good friend of mine, and there was a lot that was unhealthy there. But see, it's not useful to consider yourself to be a victim of someone else. You can only victimize yourself. And she didn't do anything to me. It was me who allowed her to do certain things. It was me. That wasn't her fault. Well, I mean, it was also her fault, of course, but it's not useful to just be a victim. See, the second I'm being honest with myself and taking responsibility for the things I did or allowed other people to do, I'm actually empowering myself to deal with life, and instead of being afraid of what might happen if I encounter certain types of people, instead I learned that I can trust myself in my ability to deal with all kinds of people simply by having integrity and being authentic, basically. Now, of course, this also relates to art and to creative work, because if you're being authentic, you're actually creating things that are you, that are honest, that are the actual thing you would like to create and that would energize you. And so not only does authenticity empower you as a human being or as a partner or any role you might have in life, brother, friend, whatever it may be, colleague, but it also makes your creative process a lot better, and the end result of what you're creating will be more useful to people because you're being honest. And the worst thing that can happen is that you're wrong, which is good, because then, especially if you post it online, people will correct you. I hope so, at least. And you will learn. So either you're right or you learn. And that's just entrepreneurship in a nutshell. Just keep creating things, keep doing things, setting up companies or whatever your thing might be. And either you're right or you learn. To me, this is all about the authentic self and the search for the authentic self, which is just a weird way to phrase it, because it means you're searching for that which is already there. You're searching for yourself, but we end up removing ourselves from our authentic selves because of social conditioning and what's not. And so the search for the authentic self is actually the letting go of social conditioning so you can return to just being your authentic self. And I hope this video helped you think about that or gain a new perspective on it and maybe get closer to just being your most authentic self, because I think that's what the world really needs. If we were all completely authentic, I can only imagine the world being a much better place. So, see you guys next time.